A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the Gilgai Sports Ground for this afternoon's minor semi-final. The matches scheduled. The reserve grade Tingha plays Bundarra. In the first grade match this afternoon we have Gilgai Imperials versus Emmaville. The reserve grade teams are on the field for this afternoon's clash, and the teams for you. The Tingha side, the fullback is Leighton Blair, the winger Stephen Ting and Les Parry. The centres are Ricky Fenton and Greg Mayfield. The 5'8" Bernie Anderson. The half is Cole Payne. The lock is Ashley Sutton. The second rowers Paul Carpenter, the captain coach, and also Vince Gerard. The props Rod Jones and Aki Mann, and the hooker is Alex Lavender. The Bundarra side, the fullback is Steve Riley. The wingers Bimbo Bateman and Eric Strong. The setters Mike Williams and Teddy Blair. The 5'8" Andy Blair. The halfback Jeffrey Beard. As the kickoff's taken place from Tingha. From Bundarra, Jeff Blair's the lock for Bundarra. Lonnie Munro second row. Ray Craigie the other second rower. The props Bob Binge and Stevie Crossland, and the hooker is Paul Munro. In possession of the ball now is Tingha, as we see Vince Gerard, the second rower, rucking the ball out, and he's down. Actually it's Leighton Blair, the fullback, 15 metres from Tingha's line. Ball's played, it goes to Gerard, now the second rower, who's playing out of position really. He played in the centres last week when Tingha were defeated by Bingra, and this week he's in the second row. There's the captain coach Paul Carpenter. He'll need to do a lot of that today. Pass goes back to Jones, and Rodney Jones goes over the quarter. The veteran of both sides, Rodney Jones, he played many years ago, had a few years break, and is back with the Tingha reserves today. Now we see a pass, now Anderson dummies, and is picked up on the quarter and dropped heavily by the second row, the setter Williams for Bundarra. Ball's played, it goes way to Payne, the halfback puts the big kick in. It's going down between the fullback Riley and also the winger on the far side, that's Strong, bouncing back. Riley the fullback goes back and picks it up inside his quarter. Now he's preparing to run upfield. He runs across field. Is going to have too much pace for Sutton, but runs there straight into 5'8" Anderson, and Sutton come from behind and knock him over. Just outside the quarter, the ball's played. It comes back to a player running on the ball across field. Then a pass comes out to the winger on this side, Bateman. But Bateman's quickly rubbed up by Mayfield, and in there lending a hand too was the winger, that's Stephen Ting. It's played, Teddy Blair at dummy half, pass to big prop forward Crossland, who loses it, goes straight into the arms of big Rodney Jones, the prop forward. Couldn't believe his luck, and now he's picked up and dropped 13 metres inside the Bundarra territory. The winner of this match, of course, goes and plays Ashford next week at Bingra, and the winner of that game then goes and plays the Bingra side in the grand final. Ball's played on the quarter, on the Bundarra side of the field. There's Big Aki Man sliding through and is brought down 17 metres away from the Bundarra line. It's played at the halfback is Lavender, pass away to Payne, then to Carpenter. Carpenter the second row, runs hard, pushes off one, pushes off two, pass away to Anderson, and he's shouldered to the ground by Crossland, but a few metres short. Bundarra side specialists in the shouldering business, but the opposition sides often make ground. Now the pass come out, Tingha's got the overlap as it goes to Mayfield, then a pass goes the winger, he must be in. Parry going for the corner, and he's going to score. There's Parry from the far end of the field. They just had too many out there for Bundarra, and that's the first try of the match to Les Parry, and Tingha lead Bundarra by 3 points to 0. Captain coach Paul Carpenter has the conversion attempt just inside the quarter and about 7 yards in, or 7 metres in from the far touchline. 3-0, an early try to Bundarra to the Tingha side. And they lead Bundarra by 3 points to 0. General opinion favours Bundarra to win this game, but Carpenter moves in, right foot the ball. It doesn't look a bad kick. It's straight between the uprights. That's a fine kick by Paul Carpenter from near the touchline. Now Tingha lead Bundarra by 5 points to 0. Set the kick-off taken by the setter Williams as it goes downfield, and Leighton Blair, the fullback, allows it to bounce, puts his foot, then picks it up, and he makes 20 metres before he's brought down, 13 metres inside Tingha territory. Blair, the fullback, gets up and plays at Lavender, a dummy half, gets a pass away to Carpenter, who stops as he's tackled by Munro. Then the pass goes out to a Tingha player. It's picked up by halfback Payne, a long pass to Anderson, the 5'8", running across field, but Craigie followed him across and dropped him midway half and quarter on Tingha's end. Now Jones calling for the ball on the blind side. The big prop gets out of Craigie's tackle, gets out of Cross and shoulder charge. See what I mean about these shoulder charges? He's allowed to run a further 5 metres before he's held. Just on his side of halfway. Gerard, the second row of Vince Gerard, goes over halfway before he's dropped in a tackle by Binge. And over the top is the second row of Craigie. Gerard's up and plays it. The lock forward Sutton from dummy half moves it away to Payne. A pass goes to Anderson, the 5'8". He puts the kick in general play. Going back for it is Strong, the winger on the far side, and coming through as the Tingha defence. Strong makes a bit of a meal of it. Knocked back, says the referee, and he's down about 12 metres out from his own line. A dummy half is Riley, the fullback. First touch of the ball for the fullback, and he's down just inside the quarter on the Bundarra end of the field. The Tigers leading Bundarra Bulldogs 5-0 as it's played. It comes out a pass now to who is it? It could be the hooker, is it? He's down just on the quarter. inside the Bundarra territory. Ball's played, pass goes out to Beer, the halfback. He throws one to Craigie, second row, running wide. He tries to split the centres, then drops a beautiful pass away to Blair. Pass goes out now to Teddy Blair, the centre. He's lined up the winger, but he stepped around the fullback, and he's going to have plenty of pace. He's heading for the try line. He's got too much pace for Gerard, too much pace for Ting, and Teddy Casual Blair is going to score about 12 metres to the right of the uprights. A try to Blair, who was sold the big dummy and went through. Gerard, the centre, the second rower, just didn't have the pace to match him. That makes the score 5-3 with the conversion to come. Let's watch the conversion attempt. It's about all 6 or 7 metres to the right of the uprights, and he's taken it back about 17 metres to have the conversion attempt. This should level the scores at 5 points all after both sides scoring tries in the opening 10 minutes of this game. Lonnie Munro, the second rower, with the conversion attempt. Right foot the ball, never in doubt. The wind's got it, but it's between the uprights for the 2 points. And so Tingha and Bundarra, after about 8 minutes of play, point score 5 all. Halfback Colpane has the job of starting the game from the kick-off, and it's gone down to the second rower. Now he's starting to run the ball up. Over the quarter line he goes. That's second rower. Who is it? Tired to pick up, and he's made a nice break as the pass goes away to lock for Jeff Blair. And he's brought down right on halfway. Now he goes an extra 4 or 5 metres before he's down. In fact, that good run was made initially by Stunner Mike Williams. Ball's played. Binge at dummy half. Passes away to Paul Munro. He looks for support inside, but takes the tackle of Senna Mayfield. And he's down about 40 metres away from Tingha's line, and that's where he stays too. He's injured. And medical attention is required for Paul Munro. The sponsor of this reserve grade video today is Kerry Williams at the Commercial Hotel in Bundarra. Now, Kerry is a fine man. He's only reasonably new out there at Bundarra. Great people to do business in. Now, when the weather's got you really worked up for a thirst, well, go and see the Commercial Hotel in Bundarra. Counter lunches, Kerry will line up your party cake for you, whatever you need in requirements for a party. The man to see is Kerry Williams out there at the Commercial Hotel at Bundarra. Great person, and he's a great supporter of the Bundarra Bulldogs. Well, we see a rather sad tale at the moment. It's something you don't like to see in any sport, and rugby league, of course, is a game where people do get hurt, but Paul Munro, the hooker, is lying prone on the ground, and from reports from officials, he has a broken leg. He fell, not what you wouldn't call it that awkwardly, but he certainly wasn't done in the by the offending player, or should I say the attacking player. He just fell awkwardly, Paul Munro, and he's down now, and he looks, well, from unconfirmed reports, could suffer a broken leg, which is a bad blow to Bundarra, but of course a bad blow to this game that take some of the gloss off the match here this afternoon.
Crook, eh?
Right, the leg on. Don't forget to keep up in touch with the Northwest Rugby League. The Northwest League segment brought to you by Les and Margaret Salter at the Imperial Hotel each Saturday morning at 11:05 on 2NZ, where we have interviews with players and the latest information, the latest team changes, and what's happening, why it's happening, and when it's going to happen. That's in our Northwest League segment at 11:05. The next couple of weeks, of course, we'll be delving into the final next Saturday and the grand final the following week. So keep in mind, if you want to keep in touch with Northwest League, 11:05, the Northwest League segment on 2NZ, brought to you by Les and Margaret Salter at the Imperial Hotel, who of course are bringing you this video today. They'll play fullback out of the way, so we cast them on.
Thanks, boys.
So Paul Munro, the hooker, has left the field in the ambulance, on his way to hospital, where they'll treat him for what looks to be a broken leg. Now the scrum will pack down about 12 metres inside the Tingha territory. Referee Jones just giving instructions to the side. Now we'll have to try and pick up the replacement player for it to you. Bundarra win the ball from the scrum, and Jeff Beer, the halfback, dives on it 10 metres into Tingha territory. Blair at dummy half, fires it to Craigie. Craigie throws it behind him, knocked on by another Bundarra player and dived on by Lavender, the hooker for Tingha. So Tingha in possession. It's play, dummy half, Fenton fires it to Payne. A pass goes out wide then to Anderson, long one then to Mayfield. He loses the ball as he goes to throw it. Picked up behind him by Anderson, but the referee calls the knock on. The scrum packs down about 8 metres inside the Tingha territory. Score is 5 points all after Tingha scored the opening try, and then Bundarra hit back about 2 minutes later to score a try, which then levelled the scores with the conversion. 5 all, ball in. It's coming out straight through the channel. The referee wants it back in again. Halfback Colpane to feed the ball for Tingha. Tingha finished third in the reserve grade competition, but Bundarra finished fourth. But general opinion around the ground today favours the Bundarra victory. And they're really bustling Tingha at the moment as the centre is knocked over. Midway half and quarter, that was the centre, Mayfield. He gets up and plays it. Fenton, a dummy half, gives it to Man, the prop forward, and he stops as he comes to the defence. Knocked over and a tackle by Williams, the centre. Blair, his centre partner there too. A pass goes out now to half-back Payne, to Carpenter, the prop forward, but he only ambles into the ruck. Almost got arrested for loitering. 10 metres inside Tingha territory. He's ordered to play it. Carpenter pushing and shoving, played a dummy half, pass goes from Sutton, away it goes to big prop forward Jones, and he goes into the ruck and is picked up just to a metre inside Bundarra territory. Jones plays it, ball goes out to Gerard, he stops, now gets the move on, and he gets around one tackler but runs into Beard, and Beard brings him down with the assistance of Blair. That's Teddy Blair, 10 metres inside the Bundarra territory. Fifth tackle too, as it goes to Carpenter, he puts the kick in for the line. This side is going to be a good kick too, it bounces into touch, about 20 metres away from the Bundarra line, and that's where the scrum will pack down. So the scrum is packing down just inside the quarter. Ball's to be fed in by halfback Beard for Bundarra. Ball's in, it's coming out Bundarra side. Play on, says the referee. It's off the foot, but it's missed by the winger Bateman. Picked up on the run around by halfback Beard, and now Bundarra back a few metres from their own line. Try to run it out. There goes Bateman now, the winger. Runs across field, gets away from Jones, but runs into Sutton, and Jones, they combine to bring him down 15 metres away from the Bundarra line. Bundarra now will try and have to get back into the game as the pass goes. Terrible passes. Jones, the prop forward, knocked over the 5'8" Andy Blair. The big and the small there, and the scrum packs down for the knock-on, 15 metres away from the Bundarra line. Beard feeds the scrum, it's coming out, Tingha side as Payne picks it up from the scrum base, gives it to Anderson, spotted a bit of a gap, quickly closed as the Bundarra forwards converge on Anderson, and he's down about 6 metres away from Bundarra's line. Kick through on the play of the ball, 6 to go, picked up by 11 to the hooker. He'll try and break through the defence, runs into the referee. Referee almost tempted to blow the game up there because it was almost a dead ball, but he said play on. Pass goes from Carpenter to Mayfield, terrible pass, picked up by his centre partner Fenton, but the referees call play back for the forward pass, and so the scrum will pack down about 10 metres away from the Bundarra line. Ball's going in, it's coming up Bundarra's side, but the referee wants it back in again. Score at the moment is 5 points all. Ball's in, comes out whose side? Bundarra, but halfback Jeff Beard, of course, was offside. He didn't retire after the ball was put in. It was coming out, Cole Payne was ready to pick it up, and Beard said, thanks, I'll have that. The referee got him for offside, so 10 metres out, tap taken. Pass goes away to Sutton, the lock forward. He runs hard and runs straight into the defence and picked up and dropped hard too by Williams, the centre. Bundarra had the ball. Craigie, the second rower, comes away with it, but a nice tackle from Mayfield brings him down 15 metres out from Bundarra's line in front of the posts. There's fullback Riley running hard. Nice tackle by Gerard around the bootlaces there. Brings the fullback down just inside the quarter. It's played at dummy half. Blair fires a pass away to the replacement. Will have to pick him up as the pass goes out further to Williams, the centre. He comes back infield, but Lavender, the hooker, clings to his jersey and brings him down inside the quarter. Halfback Beard, smallest player on the field, gives it away to Blair, the centre. Now he throws a pass back into another player. That's the replacement, I think it is, and he gets almost to the quarter before he's down. Bundarra a little bit disorganised. The ball is to be played now. Beard, a dummy half, runs on this side of the field. Decides to put the kick in. It's coming back where fullback Leighton Blair juggles it now, picks it up and runs across field. He's going to run straight into Beard, and a nice tackle from the halfback who followed his kick through, brings him down a few metres in Bundarra's territory. Tingha go the open side as Payne looks for support, decides to run himself and runs into Craigie. Craigie misses him. Picked up and dropped though by the player Lonnie Munro, second rower. It's played. There's Lavender, the hooker. He'll look to unload. No, he won't. He runs straight into problems in the shape of Lee Centre Williams, and the assistants there also have another player. It's played, it comes back to Gerard. Gerard steps inside one tackle. That's Blair. Blair, the lock forward, clings to him, and they're trying to pick the Tingha fellas up and drive them into the ground. But the Tigers and Bundarra, 5-all. There's big prop Rodney Jones running into the ruck, and he makes 12 metres before he's down, midway between the quarter and the Bundarra line. Jones, the big fellow, gets up and plays it, goes to Anderson. They're using the back line. Carpenter out wide, decides, throws a bit of a dummy, goes straight through, a long pass overhead to Fenton, the centre, and he's going to score in the far corner. That's a nice try by Tingha as the pass went from Carpenter, a long one out to centre Fenton, who had the overlap, and he raced through and scored about 10 metres from the corner post, and that makes the score Tingha leading Bundarra 8-5. Paul Carpenter with the conversion attempt outside the quarter. He kicked a nice goal from almost the same position early in the game. Right foot the ball. This is going wide though, to the right of the uprights. No goal. So Tigers lead the Bulldogs here at the Gilgai Sports Ground. Score is 8-5, and we've had probably 20 minutes of play in this reserve grade match. No, no, thanks. Kick-off taken by Bundarra. Williams takes the kick. Waiting for it as Gerard, second row. Takes it nicely, evades the tackle of Strong, but runs into trouble. 13 metres inside his own territory. Fullback Riley it was up there. There's Man, the big prop forward, runs in. Looks like Graham Olling too, except for the Guernsey. 10 metres into Tingha territory is down. Man, the big prop forward, plays it. Dummy half Parry, juggles it. Then gets a pathway to Lavender. Almost forward as Lavender prop to take it. And he's down just short of halfway. Picked up and driven into the dirt by Craigie, second rower. Ball's played. Gerard decides to run himself. Second row standing wide. Runs into a player. Who was it? Williams is in there, the centre, as is Binns, the prop forward. A few metres in Bundy's territory now. There's Carpenter, the prop forward, running wide. He decides to take on Crosland. Takes him on. Oh, a tackle from Munro. He knocked over a Tingha man without the ball. And the ball's gone loose. There'll be a scrum. Just 10 metres inside the Bundarra territory. The replacement player at 15 is Blacklock. Don't know his first name, but he's the man who's taken the place of Paul Munro, the hooker, who was injured and broke his leg, in fact, at this stage we believe, and he's been taken to hospital. So Tingha lead this match 8-5. Ball in, coming out Bundy side. Beard gives it to Strong, the winger, who's come around from the blind side. Fires it to Blair, the 5'8", that goes to Williams, the centre, and Williams is wrapped up. Throws a pass off the ground though, and the referee's got him for a knock on. Well, I would have thought if there was going to be a decision, it would have been a pass off the ground, but the referee has decided to blow the game up, and 10 metres into Bundy's territory, the scrum packs down. Right in the centre of the cricket wicket area here at Gilgai. Ball's in, it's coming out Tingha's side, but the referee wants it in again. Ball goes in. It's a bit of a mess. The scrum referee spotted an infringement here. A penalty's gone to Bundarra, collapsing the scrum against Tingha. The penalty goes to the Bulldogs in the centre of the cricket wicket, and 13 metres in their own territory. Quick tap taken by Teddy Blair, catching the Tingha defence napping. Now he throws a pass out to Bateman, the winger. He runs into his opposite number on this side of the field, Ting, and they hold him 8 metres inside Tingha's territory. Pass goes away to the fullback Riley. Decides to run himself as a player was coming through in support, asking for the ball, but Riley took the tackle. It's played Blair at dummy half. That's Teddy, gives it to Beard. Pass goes out to Craigie, the second rower, gets out of one, but runs into Sutton and Jones. Ball goes loose, picked up by Carpenter, the prop forward and captain coach for Tingha, and he's held up 5 metres outside the Tingha corner. A penalty goes against Peard and Blair. The referee had called hell, and they raked the ball out, so the penalty goes to the Tigers outside their corner. The Tigers lead this reserve grade match 8-5, as we see Ray Craigie down at the moment, but play on, says the referee. Kick's taken by Anderson, and Fines touch to a few metres inside Tingha's territory. The winner of this match goes on to play Ashford in next week's final at Bundarra, and the winner of that match will play Bundarra in the grand final at Tingha in 2 weeks' time. Now the tap is to be taken by Parry. He fires it to Payne. A bit of a runaround work. Goes to Sutton, the lock forward. He runs hard, gets out of 2 tackles, but Beard, the third tackler, doesn't miss him. And down he goes, 8 metres into Bundarra territory. Played it now, Payne at dummy half, away to Anderson, the 5'8", running into the ruck. Loses the ball too as he's tackled. Picked up by Williams, the centre. Now he prepares to run. Gets to Mayfield, and Mayfield gets his legs and brings him down. From the play the ball, bit of scrappiness in the play of the ball from the Tingha, who must have been nearly offside, but play on, says the referee. And there goes the Bob Binns, the prop, down for Bundarra. Up and plays it now. Blair at dummy half, fires it away to another player. Who is it? Could be the second row, the lock forward it is, Jeff Blair, and he's down a few metres inside Bundy territory. Oh, Jones must be offside, is he? Play on, says the referee. He's playing havoc with the Bundarra fellows playing the ball. But on a couple of occasions now, Jones looked as though he's offside. The rule states that the ball must be allowed to clear the ruck. And Jones is reaching around and grabbing the dummy half, who's having a horrible day. Beard puts it in. It's coming out Bundy's side, knocked on the scrum base by the half-back, and the referee wants it back in again. Certainly in the weight department, Tingha, through their Jones, Mann and Carpenter would have the weight advantage, and it's seen there because Tingha pushed Bundarra about 3 metres backwards. But the penalty goes to Tingha, as Jeff Beard thought, well, if I can't win the push, I'll certainly put it in the second row, and Jones, the referee, got him for that. So the penalty goes to Tingha, 10 metres into Bundy's territory. They take the quick tap. It's fired away to fullback Leighton Blair, who gets out of 1 tackle. That was of 5'8" Blair, and Leighton Blair is brought down and dropped 30 metres away from the Bundarra line. Taken there by, I think it might have been Riley. Anyway, pass goes back to Payne, who makes a mess of it, knocks it on, and the scrum packs down 40 metres away from the Bulldogs line. The Tigers lead this match 8 points to 5 after tries to Parry and Fenton, and Teddy Blair as the try scorer for the Bundarra side. Ball's in, it's coming out whose side? Payne, the half-back, and I noticed that Andrew Blair, the 5'8", moved to the half-back spot to work the scrums. Half-back Payne plays it after being tackled by Blair. They work blindside. Gerard gets out of 1 tackle from Andrew Blair, but runs into Teddy Blair. And he's held up 40 metres out. Kick through on the play of the ball. 6 to go as Rodney Jones wasn't running onto that ball, but Teddy Blair grabs him around the ankles. The big prop forward to down to stand. And stand he does. Now he goes down as Craigie puts the shoulder into him. 30 metres away from Bundy's line. Ball played, it comes to Carpenter on the blind side. It's a big blind side. Oh, pushes off Crosland and gives him a doubt argue. Now the pass goes back to Gerard, the second row. Got a bit of pace, so he runs into Crosland, who came again. And he vented his frustration on the second row of Gerard, but he plays it inside the quarter, goes to Payne, half, fires it away to Anderson. He comes back into the centre of the ruck, gets half out of Munro's tackle. The tackle finished off by prop forward Binge. Bit of a mess at dummy half. Lavin almost knocked it on, but now they're reverse play back across the ruck. And Aki Man takes it into the forwards, gets a pass to Gerard, the second row. He gets out of Riley's tackle and runs into Craigie. And 20 metres out in front of the uprights, they hold him. Fifth tackle on Tingha. Jones runs across field, gets out of Blair's tackle. Oh, runs straight around his wing, and there has to be a shepherd. There is. Rodney Jones wasn't quite sure what to do with that ball, and Ting come inside him, and Jones decided to delay the pass. In fact, he held it completely, went behind his own winger. So the penalty's gone to Bundarra inside their quarter. But at the moment, Tingha certainly have the Bundarra side rattled. Tap will be taken by the Bundy boys, 23 metres from their own line. As Bimbo Bateman, the winger, comes up to take it. He'll probably give it to Craigie. Takes the tap. He gives it to Craigie. Craigie calling Lonnie Munro to him. He runs across field the second row. Runs straight into 5'8" Anderson. And Anderson bring him down. He's run about 20-30 yards across field and about 4 yards forward. Now the penalty's gone to Bundarra's Carpenter. It is been penalised for using the knees in the tackle. And the penalty goes to the Bulldogs, 13 metres inside their own territory. They're not going to kick for touch. They take the tap, in fact, and Munro, the second row, shapes to kick, but decides to run with it. It has brought down a few metres inside Tingha, inside Bundarra territory. Tackler there is Gerard. Big cross on the prop board, takes the ball, goes over halfway, runs into Gerard, and Gerard with the assistance of Anderson, the 5'8", bring him down a few metres inside the Tingha Tigers territory. It's played in the dummy half. It goes to Blair, who had to stop to pick it up. Now he goes, throws a pass behind the defence. Good work by the 5'8". That goes to replacement player Blacklock. Gets around Leighton Blair. The defence converge. A pass goes back. It's knocked behind by Beard. Pass goes back to Strong, the wing on the far side. Runs backward, loses it forward. And the referees order the scrum for the knock-on. So the scrum packs on the quarter. That was good work by the 5'8" Andrew Blair for the Bundarra side. He threw the ball behind the defence and allowed the replacement player Blacklock to charge downfield, but from there the movement broke up. So the scrum packs on the quarter. Reasonable crowd building up here at Gilgai, but certainly not anywhere near the capacity crowd at Tingha yesterday. Now Tingha won the ball. They got the overlap here. Has Ting got any pace? He comes to inside Teddy Blair, but a nice tackle around the head brings him down. If a tackle around the head can be called nice. Ting plays it. A dummy half. The ball goes out to Mayfield. Mayfield runs as he swirls around, then makes a nice 10-15 yards, runs into Munro, and he's down 10 metres inside the Tingha territory. Mayfield plays it. Ball goes back one way. Anderson actually the decoy. Goes to Lavender, then to Mann. It pushes off Crosland. Now Crosland gets his boot. He gets the pass away to Lavender. Lavender's held up just on halfway. Taken there by Craigie and lock forward Jeff Blair. Pass goes away to Carpenter from the ruck, and Carpenter, big fellow, runs straight through Andy Blair. He pushes Beard out of the way, gives him a don't argue. There's Gerard making a break, the second rower, and he's knocked over on the corner, but good work by Carpenter there. They're going too high for this fellow. They need to go around his legs. A pass goes out to 5'8" Anderson, right straight through the ruck. But the referee's got Bundarra for inside the 5, and here's a gift, 2 points to Paul Carpenter. It's right in front of the uprights and 20 metres out. Spectators here today. Carpenter second row comes in and right foot the ball. It looks good. 1 flag up, 2 flags up, and the referee says that'll do me for 2 points. So Tingha lead the Bundarra side 10 points to 8. So the kick-off taken by Williams. I think I said the score was 10-8 just after that kick, but it's 10-5 in fact with Tingha in front. There's Leighton Blair, the fullback, allowed to run, and he's brought down 8 metres into the Tingha territory. Taken into tackle there by the 5'8" Andy Blair. It's played, running is Sutton. Sutton steps around Blair, but Blair grabs him by the leg, and down goes Sutton right in the sawdust on halfway. In the centre of the field, it comes back to Jones, the prop forward. He runs wide, it runs into a player, throws a pass away to Fenton. Fenton goes to set his winger up, but runs inside himself, and Blair, the centre, comes from behind, and Blair, the Beard, the halfback, is there too. Ball's played, it comes out to Mayfield, the centre. He unloads a pass away to Payne. A pass goes to Anderson, the 5'8", he's running across field. Short pass to Carpenter, the big second rower. He made a bit of a bust. To the corner he goes, still going before they bring him down. I think it could have been fullback Riley eventually who knocked him over inside the corner. Carpenter, the captain coach of the Tingha reserve grade, gets up and plays it. There goes blindside, bit of disorganisation, and Anderson makes 5 yards before he's down. 15 out from the Bundy line. 5th tackle on the Tigers. They lead 10-5. Ball goes from Payne. He sends a pass out to Jones. They'll score if they throw it. A pass goes to Blair. Pass goes to the centre three-quarter. Fenton's going to score. The referee says, fair try. Ricky Fenton's in the score, right in the corner for the Tigers. Referee Macklin was asked the question by Mr. Jones, did he go out? And Mr. Macklin correctly said no, he didn't, and Jones said, well, that does me for 3 points. So Tingha now race away and lead Bundarra 13-5 with the kick to come. Now Carpenter, the second rower and captain coach of this Tingha side, having his 4th attempt at goal. He's been successful on 2 occasions, just inside the touch line, outside the corner, right foot the ball, but it's going across the goalpost, never really got much height. So here at Gilgai Sports Ground, we're getting very close to half-time. The score favours Tingha by 13 points to 5. Now they're going to be recommenced from the centre of the halfway line by centre Mick Williams. He takes the kick, well taken by fullback Leighton Blair. Blair runs into the defence, gets out of 1, but runs into Craigie, the second rower. Munro's there too. As Carpenter pushes Munro away. Ball's to be played outside the quarter. Dummy half as Carpenter fires a pass away to Sutton. He sends a pass then to Anderson, the 5'8". Anderson gets out of Blair's tackle, but runs into bid eventually. Blair comes again. Midway between the quarter and halfway. It's kicked through on the play of the balls. The pass comes back to Gerard, the second row, and the Bundarra tackler's in there, ready and willing at the moment. 11 metres into Tingha territory, Gerard ordered to play it. He does play it. Sutton gets away a pass away to Jones, the big prop forward. He runs into Blair, the 5'8", and Jones is down a few metres into Tingha territory. Ball's played, goes to Carpenter. Carpenter gets a pass away to Mann, the big prop forward. Oh, he's hitting a shoulder charge by Munro, the second row for Bundarra. And Mann's a bit sick and sorry after that. Slowly to his feet, plays it. Dummy half, Carpenter gets a pass away to Payne. A long pass goes out then to another player. The kick's put up to Strong there, but they're racing through after it. And Blair, it's Blacklock indeed. Blacklock, the replacement player. And the referee's got somebody here. It's second row Craigie. I think 5'8" Anderson it was, who may have been knocked over after the kick. And 5'8", the replacement player Blacklock, all the action's happening at once here, has been cautioned. Penalty goes to Tingha and they fine touch just outside the Bundarra quarter. That's where the second tap will be taken. Winger Les Parry on the far side will take the tap. Fires it away to halfback Payne. He gives a short pass to Jones, the big fellow. Jones runs into Munro, who tries the shoulder charge again. Over the top comes 5'8" Blair, and Jones is down midway quarter and try line. It's played. Pass comes back away to Mayfield. A pass goes to Carpenter, running across field. A long pass, I'll score. Pass goes to the winger Tingha, who knocks it on as the ball bounced a couple of times. And Tingha it is, knock on. The referee's ordered the scrum back about 17 metres away from the Bundarra line. That's where the scrum will pack down. Score at the moment is 13 points to 5 in favour of the Tigers. We've seen one bad injury in the game. Paul Munro, the hooker for Bundarra, was taken to hospital with what we believe is a broken leg. His replacement is Blacklock, but they're the only replacements in the side, as halfback Beard almost likely to get away with that. He tackled Cole Payne and had the ball knocked out of him, and then he wouldn't let Payne get the ball. Now Payne's up with it, gets a pass away to Mayfield, the centre, runs straight into the ruck. Oh, almost through as Mayfield, the centre. He's brought down about 10 metres away from the Bundarra line. Up and plays at the centre, running from dummy half of Sutton, the lock forward. He pushes off one, but runs into Crosland and Riley. They hold him up a few metres away from the line. Ball played, Sutton gets pass away then to Payne. Pass goes to Carpenter, the big fella running across field, drops a pass into Anderson's lap, but it was forward and dived on by a Bundarra player. So Bundarra in possession, about 7 metres out from the Bundarra line in front of the uprights. It's played, there goes Ted Blair, making a weaving run, good for 13 metres too, before he's dropped just inside the quarter. In a tackle by Lavender, the hooker. It's played, there's Bob Binns, the prop, running hard, and he takes play over the quarter before he's knocked over by Lavender, the hooker, with the assistance of Mann, who's recovered from that shoulder charge. Now the referee's caught Tingha inside the 5 metres. Ironic cheer from the crowd as the penalty is taken. Midway half and quarter, and Craigie, the second row, decides to run himself, and he takes play 4 metres short of halfway before he's brought down. Craigie, second row, gets up and plays a Blair at dummy half, passes away to the second row, Lonnie Munro. He runs and gets a pass away, almost intercepted by Mayfield. 6 to go as Bundarra dive on the ball. It could have been the lock forward Jeffrey Blair. He plays it to 5'8" Andy Blair, gets it away to Munro. Dummies, 6 tackles, he kicks though, and the ball's going down toward fullback Blair. Blair will handle this pretty well. He goes back and picks it up under his own goal post. Now he proceeds to run. Dummies taken by Bateman. Now he runs to Leighton Blair, and he's brought down about 17 metres, 16 metres away from the Tingha line. Lost the ball too. And the referees asked But a scrum set down about 16 metres away from the Tingha line after he ordered the Tingha fella to play it, and Bundarra come up with the ball, so he had no option other than to set the scrum. "16 metres away from Bundarra's Tingha's line, ball in, coming out to the Bundarra side. Bateman, the winger, it is in possession now. He'll be asked to play it. He plays it. It goes away to second row Craig. He's running across field. Good style of football of this fellow, and he's brought down 12 metres away from the Tingha line. Dropped heavily by Carpenter with the assistance of Anderson. Craig gets to his feet, looks with disdain at his tacklers. Ball comes out to Blair, the centre, shows it, decides to straighten up himself, but he got no way through there. Throws a pass behind that Blair, the lock didn't know he had, and he hasn't got it because prop forward Aki Man comes up with it for Tingha. So the Tigers let off the hook momentarily. As the pass comes to Carpenter, he only ambles in the ruck, gets a pass away to Gerard, and Gerard reaches the corner before he's held. Tingha lead this match, 13-5. I'd like to see Paul Carpenter running a little bit harder. Now he gets the ball and throws it, but he's inside the 5, Carpenter. And this is a rule that the referees aren't severe enough on. If they're going to do it, they could probably get any team every time they touch the ball. Now 5'8", Andy Blair says, what will I do with it? He takes the tap, gets a pass away to the lock forward Jeff Blair. He steps, but runs into Lavender. And with the assistance of Anderson, they bring him down 18 metres away from the Tingha line, but in front of the uprights. They swing it wide as the centre Williams is going towards the line. And he's brought down a couple of metres short of the line. Williams will get up and play it. Dummy half is, I think it's Blacklock, the replacement. He runs hard and runs into Jones. Pushed back by Lavender, the hooker, in fact, a few metres away from the Tingha line. Ball's played, dummy half is Ted Blair. Dummies the open, runs the blind from dummy half, but he's held up a few metres short still. Down 13-5, the Bulldogs. Pass goes to Binns, but he wasn't coming at his top. And he's brought down still 2 metres short. Fifth tackle on the Bulldogs. Beard, halfback, unloads away to Munro. Gets a pass away to Craigie to second row. Throws a loose pass. It's knocked on by Riley, the fullback. The referee has no option other than to order the scrum. About 15-16 metres away from the Tingha line. And at the moment, the Tigers lead this match by 13 points to 5. Scrum packs, in the ball goes. It's coming out Tingha's end, but the referee wants it back in again. A couple of the hookers, both hookers in fact, on the ground. Balls to be fed in. Ball's in from Tingha. It's coming out whose side? Tingha ball it is. Payne runs from the scrum base, runs in the beard and is taken in a tackle 16 metres away. Kicks through in the play of the ball. Going back for it is, who is it? It's Mayfield, the centre. He decides to run. He got plenty of pace, this fella, that any move. Gets away from one tackle. Pass goes to Ting, and Ting's taken across the sideline by prop forward Crosland. And it's half-time here at the Gilgai Sports Ground. At half-time, the score is 13-5 in favour of Tingha. For Tingha, 2 tries to centre Ricky Fenton, a try to winger Les Parry, 2 goals to Carpenter. For Bundarra, a try to Teddy Blair, a goal to Lonnie Munro. So at half-time, Tingha lead 13-5. So the second half's underway here at Gilgai. The score is 13-5 in favour of the Tingha Tigers. This video is brought to you with the compliments of Les and Margaret Salt at the Imperial Hotel, and also Kerry Williams at the Commercial Hotel at Bundarra. I might tell you again about the commercial, about counter lunches out there and party kegs and such. When you're having a party, make sure you go and see Kerry at the Commercial. They'll look after you after a hard day's work, or maybe to have a meet with friends, have a drink with friends at the Commercial Hotel at Bundarra. Plays underway again at lost ball from Bundarra, as we'll see a scrum packs down just outside the quarter on the Bundarra end of the field. 3 tries to 1 tells the story for Tingha. At this stage, they're heading for a final playoff next week against the Ashford side at Bundarra. And of course, the winner of the final next week plays Bundarra in the grand final. But here's a break made by Williams, the centre. He's going to have too much pace, although Sutton rounds him up. Pass goes back inside to Blacklock, a pass away to Blacklock, and the replacement player streaming away to score under the uprights. Well, he's gone right at the posts for the Bulldogs. You make a statement about Tingha heading for the final. Off goes your head and on goes a pumpkin. Right under the uprights, a try scored by Blacklock, the replacement player, and that makes the score now 13 points to 8 with the easiest conversion to come. Now, Lonnie Munro, the second rower for Bundarra, has this easy conversion attempt from right in front of the uprights. It's about 15 metres out. Munro, the second rower, who's a specialist in the shoulder charge department, hasn't pulled as many off today as he did last week against Gilgai. Right foot the ball and straight between the uprights. So that makes a better game of it. Tingha lead Bundarra by 13 points to 10, and we've only had about 3 minutes play in this second half. Well, it'll be kicked off by halfback Payne as the ball goes high in the air. Waiting for it down there is the lock forward Jeff Blair, and he decides to run with the ball. Gets out of one Tingha player's tackle and runs to the 10-metre mark before he's knocked over, finding a tackle by a key man. Blair's up and plays it. On the far side is the winger Bateman. Bateman runs into the ruck. It's brought down 7 metres into Bundarra territory. Tackler again was man with the assistance of Sutton. Cross on the big prop, a dummy half, throws a pass to Craigie, who stands and delivers to Beard. A short pass away to Munro, almost through a gap, sends a pass that is knocked back by a Tingha player, kicked through by another Bundarra player, taken by Blair, the fullback eventually, and he's upended 5 metres into Tingha territory. So the Tingha boys back in possession, but in the opening minutes of this second half, Bundarra looked pretty good with the ball. There goes Lavender, he makes a few metres, bustling through over the halfway before he's brought down. Played, pass goes away to Carpenter, the second row, runs across field, sends a pass to Jones, the big prop forward, a pass goes out there, loose ball to Parry, and the referees call play back for the knock-on. So the scrum's to back down, 12 metres inside the Bundarra territory. 13-10 the score in favour of the Tigers after they led at one stage by 13-5. But then a converted try, a try scored by Blacklock, converted by Munro. Ball's in, but it's out, and the referee wants it back in again. It's gone in this time. The referee asks to be back in. That's twice Bundarra have won it, and the referee wants the scrum to repack. It's moved a few metres back towards the Bundarra line. It's now about 14 metres out inside the Bundarra half. Ball's in. It's picked up by Payne, this time at the scrum base, but the referee still not happy with the scrum. Getting a clear tunnel. It's in this time. It's coming out no side. Referee's got somebody here. Bundarra for screwing the scrum, and then they've gone back another 10 metres, and he's set Beard off, I think. Oh no, he's sent him to get the ball. He's just waving Beard towards the touchline. Beard must have kicked the ball away, and now he's sent Beard away to get the ball, and he brings it back and drops it on the spot like a good little footballer should. Anderson, the 5'8", will take the kick for line on the far side of the field. It only gains about 6 metres, but the second tap to be taken about 20 metres from Bundarra's line. The Tigers lead this match at the moment by 13 points to 10 as we wait for a ball to be brought in from the far side. The main game this afternoon, of course, is the match between the Gilgai Imperial side and Emmaville. Tap to be taken by Ashley Sutton, the lock. Is it? Or Parry it might have been. Anyway, the pass goes out now to Wenderson, the 5'8", to Carpenter. Juggles it, loses it, picked up by the centre who followed through Mayfield, and Mayfield's down just inside the quarter. Raked through by Teddy Blair and the play of the ball. So Bundarra Bulldogs in possession. The pass comes to Riley, the fullback, and the Tingha defence converge and bring him down. In fact, they take him over the touchline, but the referee will penalise Tingha. He distinctly called for the play of the ball, and Tingha persisted in dragging him over the touchline. So the scrum, the penalty goes to Bundarra just inside the quarter, and Riley's hurt too. Blair takes the kick. Well taken by Greg Smith, who knocks it back. The referee hasn't seen the incident. Now the tip to be taken by Blacklock, the replacement player who scored the last try. Now referee Jones is watching the linesman McMurray. McMurray waving the Tingha side back to 10 metres, so in a matter of minutes we've seen both Bundarra and Tingha penalised. Kick taken by Munro, and it's going to go too deep. In fact, it's going to bounce about a metre from the Tingha lines. That's a good kick by Munro. Looked to be going too deep. It may have went touch and goal, but it hasn't. It's nailed just short of the line. So Bundarra now coming up to take the tap a few metres from the Tingha line. Second row, Munro will take the tap. Munro standing ready, taps it, gets a pass away to Blair, the lock forward. Pass goes out then to halfback B, gives it to Craigie, who fumbles it, then tries to go through a gap and goes through half a one. Being dragged across field by the Tingha defence, and he's knocked over 6 metres in front of the uprights. Big cross on the prop, ready to go, but it goes to 5'8", Andy Blair. Short pass away to Williams, the centre, who's hit in a nice tackle from Mayfield and hurt Mayfield. Also Sutton at air tackling. Dummy half, Williams, Blair, and dummies himself, then throws the ball backwards. It comes to, who is it, Williams, is it? Oh, runs, no, Blair, the lock forward, gets out of one heavy tackle, and it's finally brought to ground a few metres short of the Tingha line. Ball's played, it's played, Blair, dummies, runs himself from dummy half and tries to get through, but he can't, still a couple of metres short of the line. Score 13-10, kicks it forward in the play of the ball, but the referee's going to penalise Blair, I think. He obviously had a marker and he tried to kick the ball through, and the penalty goes to Tingha right on their line. So this will be a relieving penalty. As I see, Greg Mayfield has gone down injured too on the far side. Score 13-10 in favour of the Tigers. Zanderson takes the kick for touch. Terrible kick, but he's managed to find touch about 8 metres from his line, so he's gained probably 6 metres with that kick. Bundarra will be sure they're back there 10 metres this time. Tap to be taken by, who is it? Parry on the far wing. Gets a pass back to Lavender. And Lavender makes nice 10 metres before he's down, just on the quarter. Just inside the quarter, in fact. It's played at dummy half, goes to Jones, went to take it, but it went to Gerard behind him, and Gerard goes a few metres over the quarter, loses the ball, raked out by a Bundarra player, who knocked the ball on in the same instance. So the scrum will pack down just outside the quarter on the Tingha end of the field. The score at the moment favours the Tingha Tigers 13-10. Ball's to be fed in on the far side by Payne. It's in, it's coming out Tingha's way too. Picked up by Payne at scrum base. He tries to go around and find the opening, but he's flung to the ground by 5'8" Andrew Blair. Payne up and plays it. Anderson away to Carpenter. Carpenter runs hard, runs into Blair. Blair, he stands and throws the ball back. And Carpenter and Blair, the 5'8", go on with a 2 on the far side. And McMurray, the linesman's in. Now Carpenter's into it with 5'8" Blair. They'll be all in here in a minute. The referee's blowing the whistle. Blair, Carpenter, Teddy Blair, they're all into it. All players at the moment. And she's all in Blair, all in brawl. Now some of the players getting in there and trying to straighten them all up. Let's see what's going to be the result of this. The players there, referees there, good view of the incident. It all started when second row Paul Carpenter and 5'8" Andrew Blair went on with it after a tackle. Then Teddy Blair flew in, a couple of the Tingha boys flew in, and then she was all in. I see Alex Lavender being attended to on the far side of the field. Paul Carpenter in the second row is the man being spoken to. I think he probably, well, I don't know whether he instigated that or not. It looked from here as though him and Blair were pushing and shoving. Now the crowd certainly getting fairly warmed up by that incident anyway, if nothing else. Penalty will go, well, I don't know which way it'll go, if there's a penalty at all. Referee Jones still issuing instructions to both sides. I notice Lavender back on his feet. 15 metres inside Tingha territory, and the penalty is going to go to Bundarra. Penalty to Bundarra after the incident. And what's going to happen here? Carpenter, the big second rower and captain coach at Tingha, was cautioned, as was a Bundarra player, but the referee obviously believed that Tingha were at fault in the incident. The penalty's gone to the Bulldogs, and they've found touch for the kick just on the quarter. So the second kick will be taken 10 metres in from touch on the quarter. Waiting for the ball to be brought back in. We did have a second ball here somewhere, but I don't for the life of me know where that's gone. Now the ball thrown in by the ball boy on the far side. Munro, the second row, will take the tap. He gives it to half-back Beard. Munro runs around him, but the pass comes out the back line. It goes to Craigie, the second row, who immediately spills it, tries to regain, missed by him, picked up by Payne. Payne throws it behind him. It's picked up by half-back Beard. And the scrum will pack right in the centre of the quarter on the Tingha end of the field. So the score at the moment favours Tingha by 13 points to 10. The ball's come out of the scrum. It's 5'8" Anderson, who makes a couple of metres over the quarter before he's held up, and a tackle by Munro and also the winger Bateman. It's played, goes out to Mayfield. He steps, gets around Munro's tackle. Now still going, makes a nice 10 or 15 metres before he's pulled up. 10 metres into Tingha territory. Mayfield plays it. Blair gets a pass away to the halfback Payne. Payne gets back to Leighton Blair, and Blair's picked up and driven heavily by Munro. Midway between the half and quarter on the Tingha end of the field. The ball's played. Halfback Payne fires it away to Fenton, who runs hard, steps inside Andrew Blair, but runs into Blacklock, and halfback Beard comes across with the assistance of Teddy Blair. Fenton plays it. Ball goes back to Payne. Payne now looks for support, gets a pass away to Anderson, but they aren't running the Tingha side. Now they run with Big Carpenter out wide. Sends a long pass out to Parry, the winger, but the referee's got that for a forward pass. Didn't look all that suspicious from here, but the penalty goes to the Bulldogs, about 8 metres inside the Tingha territory. Tingha leading 13 points to 10. Now we see the lock forward, Jeff Blair, kicks for touch, and more fine touch too, 20 metres away from the Tingha line. Great. Waiting for the ball to be brought back for the second tap. 13-10 the score at the moment in favour of the Tingha Tigers side here. Tap's taken by Blair. Pass goes to Craigie. Back to Blair, who follows him around. Then a pass goes out to half-back Peter. One over the top to Riley, who has to stop. He misses. Picked up by 5'8" Blair. They'll score if they move it out. But Teddy Blair, the centre, has knocked the ball on. And about 15 metres away from the Tingha line, the scrum will pack down. Well, that was promising. If he'd held that ball, I think they would have scored. Bundarra. And unfortunately, the pass went to ground. So the scrum packs just inside the quarter on the Tingha end of the field. Score 13-10 at the moment. Ball goes in. It's come out Tingha's side. Payne fires a pass away to 5'8" Anderson. Then a pass goes away to Mayfield. Mayfield steps inside one tackle and is down just inside the corner on the Tingha end. Anderson dummy half. Away to Gerard, the second row, running wide. Sends a pass away to Fenton, the centre. Over the corner he goes. Shows the ball and runs into a tackle from, I think it could be, is it Craigie? No, it's not Craigie on the far side of the field. It's could be the winger. No, it was Munro, the second row. Ball's played anyway. Comes out to Parry, who had one of his rare runs. Runs into the ruck. It's brought down a couple of metres inside Tingha territory. Pass goes away from the dummy half. In fact, it doesn't. Man, it is. Makes a nice 10 metres before he's down. 8 metres into Bundarra territory. Prop forward man plays it. It goes blindside to big Rodney Jones, having a bit of a rest. Now he decides to run. Runs into Crosland and down he goes. Munro underneath. 5th tackle on Tingha. Jones plays it. It comes back to Carpenter. The big second row decides to put the kick up. Not a great kick. It's going to land about the corner. Waiting for it as cross and knocked back. Picked up by Craigie. Knocked back. Goes back to Beard. Referee says play on as it comes out to it could be Blacklock, is it? And he's brought down midway half and quarter. It was the replacement player. Plays it. Teddy Blair at dummy half. Makes a bit of a mess, but it goes back to Craigie now. Craigie, the second row, runs and he's brought down 12 metres inside the Bundarra territory. Makes it 8 metres inside Bundarra territory now. Craigie up and plays it. It's going to be the halfback trying to organise things around. He puts a little kick through and chases it through. Good kick by the halfback. Fullback Leighton Blair's going back for it. It bounces into his arms and he's knocked over by Blair and put in the touch. In fact, a good kick by the halfback. Jeffrey Beard. The scrum pack's down about 27, 28 metres away from the Tingha line. Score at the moment 13 points to 10 in favour of the Tigers. We've still got plenty of time for more points in this game. Ball's be fed in. It comes out. Whose side? Referee wants it back in again. Comes straight out the tunnel. Goes in, comes out. Payne, the halfback, chases the ball through, but the referee wants it back in again. So we'll have a third attempt to get a result from the scrum. Ball's in from Payne. This time it's hooked out. Comes to Tingha. And Payne follows through. Loses the ball as he's tackled by Beard. Picked up by Parry, but the referee rules the scrum for the knock-on. The scrum will pack down 10 metres further downfield on the Tingha end of the field. We see a replacement going on for Bundarra. It could be, I think, it could be a Crosland. I think he played in the reserve grade match last week. Anyway, we'll call him Crosland. Who's leaving the field? It could be Steve Riley, the fullback, leaving the field. So the replacement is number 16, Crosland. Scrum packs just inside the Tingha quarter. Now I see that Paul Carpenter has gone into prop forward as Rodney Jones has left the field. Ball comes out Bundarra side as a break is made by 5'8" Blair, and he's going to go and score right underneath the uprights. 5'8" Jeffrey Blair has scored a few metres to the left of the uprights. After a scrum win to the Bulldogs, he cuts straight through the Tingha back line, has placed it next to the uprights, and that makes the score 13-all with the kick to come. Version from just to the left of the uprights. He only taken back about 10 metres. He should put this one over no problems and make the score 15-13 in favour of the Bundarra Bulldogs. He steadies himself. Munro, the second rower, moves in with his right foot the ball. Right foot the ball, it's over, straight between the uprights, and Bundarra go to a lead of 15 points to 13 in this reserve grade minors semi-final. Now Tingha down 15-13. We'll watch Cole Payne, the halfback for the Tigers, put the ball deep into the air. Goes down to the play on the far side. It could be a Blair, I think, running across field, but he's taken a tackle by Sutton. The lock forward has been pretty quiet today, losing the ball too, and Tingha in possession with Lavender making a surge towards the Bundarra goal line, and he's held up 10 metres away from the Bundarra goal line. So immediately the Tigers go back on the attack. Comes to Carpenter, the second row, nicely ankle tap by 5'8" Andrew Blair, and he's down 10 metres from Bundarra's line. Play, it goes away to Leighton Blair, the live wire fullback. He steps but loses the ball, almost lost the ball, a couple of metres short at the Tingha line. Picked up by Gerard. The referees penalised Tingha for a pass off the ground, I think, and it was picked up by, my word, Leighton Blair almost got himself there. He was knocked over and the pass went loose, and picked up by Gerard. The referee immediately penalised it. Now running across field is Jeff Blair. Long pass goes out to Bateman on the far wing, runs into Parry with the assistance of prop forward Man, and Man's injured too as they get up and play it. As the pass comes out, we see a replacement on for the Tingha side, by the way. Rodney Jones, the prop, left the field, and his replacement is Jimmy Ross. Now the player's been blown up for a moment as Aki Man, the big prop four for Tingha, is being attended to. And the sponsor of this video today is the Commercial Hotel at Bundarra. Kerry Williams is the main host down there. He's been there for a few months now, and he'll look forward to meeting you if you haven't already met him. If you want a counter lunch, well, the great counter lunches are served at the Commercial. If you're travelling through, or maybe you live in Bundarra or do some business there anytime, call and see Kerry Williams at the Commercial Hotel in Bundarra. It's the only watering hole in the town, and no doubt the fellows down there will tell you what a great place it is. Commercial Hotel, if you're having a party, let him look after all your party keg arrangements. And the play resumes as Aki Man, so I won't say it's quite okay, but he's still in the field at the moment. Bit wobbly on the legs as a tackle player will get up and play at 15 metres away from Bundarra's line. Beard at dummy half, away to Binns, the prop forward. He runs hard into the ruck, but is met in a tackle by Lavender and also Sutton. Knocked back, says the referee. Binns lost the ball, picked up behind him by Crosland. It's played at dummy half. Beard fires a pass away to Andrew Blair, then it goes too strong. A short pass to Williams, but the referee says that's forward. Deliberate forward pass by the Bundarra side. And the referee gives a penalty to Tingha just inside the quarter. Now, they might take... No, they're going to take the kick for line. It's wonder why they didn't take the kick for goal, because they're 2 points down at the moment. Kick taken for line, and Bynes touch a few metres away from the Bundarra line. We'll see Ricky Fenton, the setter, coming up to take the second kick for the Tigers. Score at the moment, 15-13. Fenton will take the tap. Going a bit further infield, now he takes the tap, gets a pass away to Payne. Short pass back inside to Sutton, who wasn't really expecting it, and he's held up easily a few metres from Bundarra's line. There's Gerard, the second row, running across field, gets out of Crosland's tackle, loses the ball. In fact, it's gone back and dived on by a Bundarra player. Williams, the centre, dives on the ball. So the Bulldogs back in possession. Pass goes away now, picked up by Andrew Blair, the 5'8". He grubbers a pass along to the wing on the far side, Bateman, and Bateman's held up a few metres still away from his line. They haven't made any ground, Bundy. Bateman plays it, 5'8" Blair at dummy half, gets a pass away to Crosland, the big fellow, and the big fellow runs 10 metres, and the referee's got somebody here. It could be the Vince Gerard, was it? A penalty for a tackle that was a little bit high, and the penalty goes to Bundarra midway between the quarter and the try line. Score at the moment favours Bundarra Bulldogs, 15-13 after one stage. They were down by 13-5. Now we'll see the second kick to be taken by the Bulldogs after that penalty. The second kick to be taken about 14 metres inside Tingha territory. Could be a replacement made very soon in the Tingha side. Ball comes out from the tap to Craigie, the second row. He runs hard, runs into the ruck and is stopped by Lavender with the assistance of also 5'8" Bernie Anderson. He's down a few metres inside Bundarra territory. From the play of the ball, bit scrappy, dived on by, who is it? Bernie Anderson, the Tingha player. We knocked it on, but the referee says play on. Pass goes away now. It goes out to Anderson, the replacement player. Loses the ball, his first touch. Picked up by a Bundarra player. Munro, away it goes to Bateman. Bateman comes back in field as he goes over halfway, and he's down a few metres into Tingha territory. Who's the replacement player? I think it's Anderson replacing Aki Man. Anyway, Bundarra in possession. Crosland it is. A few metres into Tingha territory. He's held up in a tackle by Gerard. It's played. Dummy half. Crosland gets the pass away to Beard. Pass goes away to lock forward Jeffrey Blair. And Blair is held up 40 metres away from the Tingha line. Pass comes back away to 5'8" Andrew Blair. Loses it. Tried to be scooped up by Mayfield, but he loses the ball. His ankle tap behind him by the Blacklock, the replacement player. With the scrum will pack down about 40 metres away from Tingha's line. Ball will be fed by halfback Payne for Tingha. Score at the moment favours the Bundarra side, 15-13. Ball's in, comes straight back out to Blacklock, the replacement player, but the referee wants it back in again. Ball's in, comes off the prop's foot, comes out to Tingha's end. They want the ball back in. Ball's in this time, comes out Payne, the halfback, gets a pass away to Blair, the fullback, gets around Crosland's tackle, but hit by the other Crosland, the head-high tackle here. And the referee has penalised Crosland for coming out of the scrum and hitting Blair in a head-high tackle. The penalty goes to Tingha, 10 metres inside the Tingha territory. And as it is, puts the kick up. And it's going to find touch a metre inside Tingha's halfway. Second kick to be taken by Ting. Pass goes to Carpenter. Then a pass goes out to second row Gerard. Running across field, Vince Gerard. And he's met 5 metres into Bundarra territory, so he made some ground. Kick through and the play the ball by Crossland. Goes behind Carpenter. Carpenter picks it up as he's knocked over by Crossland coming through. Good work by Crossland. Carpenter plays it 5 metres inside Tingha's territory. He plays it running from dummy half as lock forward Sutton runs straight into a tackle from Crossland. Loses the ball, picked up by Beard. Play on, says the referee. As the pass comes away to Blair, the lock forward, and he's down 8 metres inside Tingha territory. 15-13 the Bulldogs lead. Ball's played, Beard at dummy half. Scoops one out to Craigie, the second round. He runs hard, but runs into trouble in the shape of, I think it could have been Gerard in there with the assistance of Jimmy Ross. 12 metres into Tingha territory. Craigie plays it. Dummy half Blair unloads away to Jeff Blair, and he attempts a long-range field goal, but it's going to go wide and short. The Bundarra defence coming through, picked up by fullback Leighton Blair, who tries to beat Andrew Blair out of the goal line. In fact, he's thrown it a touch a few metres from the try line on the Tingha end of the field. So this puts Bundarra right back on the attack, and a converted try here will probably seal the game for the Bulldogs as time's running out. A few metres away from the Tingha line. Ball's to be fed in by halfback Payne. Ball's in it, coming out Bundy's in it. Goes to Bateman, who came in, make the extra man. Then it goes to Blair, the block forward standing out of the scrum. And he's down 10 metres away from Tingha's line. Blair plays it. Ball comes away to Beard, then a pass goes to Williams, the centre. Knocked on, picked up by Fenton, the centre for Tingha. And he's picked up and driven. He loses the ball backwards, picked up by Ross. And the referees has ordered the scrum. 10 metres away from Tingha's line. The score at the moment favours the Bulldogs 15-13 in this minor semi-final match. 10 metres away from the Tingha line. Half-back Payne to put the ball in. Ball's in, comes out to Tingha. Payne picks it up. If he works the blind side, they'll make some ground, but he decides to hold on to the ball. And he's down 20 metres away from the Bundarra line, and the referee's got one of the players here for pulling hair. Don't know who it was, could have been Blacklock, might have been. The penalty goes to Tingha just inside their own quarter. Kick taken for touch, knocked on by Blacklock. And the second tap will go to Tingha. The second tap won't go to Tingha because, of course, it was knocked on by Blacklock. He succeeded in stopping the ball going out, knocked the ball on. The scrum packs down midway between the half and quarter. Ball's in, comes out Tingha's end, picked up by Payne as he follows the ball around the scrum base. It goes to Mayfield. He tries to step Blair up. Now gets a pass to Fenton. They got the overlap. Pass goes to Blair, the flying fullback. He gets over halfway, runs into halfback Beard, who come in from defence. Beard is now in possession of the ball. And pass goes back to another Bundarra player, and he's still up about 6 metres into Bundy territory. So Bundarra in the possession. Crossland, the big prop forward, runs, and he gets just over halfway before he's ring-necked to the ground in a tackle from Anderson. Ball played. Comes out now to Craigie, the second row. Pass goes to Blair, then a pass goes to Blacklock, but he runs into a horde of Tigers just inside Tingha's territory. Score at the moment, Bulldogs 15, Tigers 13. Kick through and the play the ball. Dived on by Blacklock, so 6 to go for the Bundarra side. There's Centre Williams running across field. Shows it goes straight under Anderson's tackle, but Payne, the halfback, knocks him over midway half and quarter on the Tingha side of the field. Bundarra Bulldogs finishing strongly. Craigie unloads to Jeff Blair, who goes back to the blind side and runs into Payne with the assistance of Philip Anderson, and they combine to hold him 40 metres away from the Tingha line. It's played. Pass comes from dummy half to Craigie. Second row, decides to straighten up, runs into Lavender, and they hold him 24 metres away from the Tingha line. It's going to be played by Craigie. It is played. It comes out now to the lock forward, Jeff Blair, who tries another field goal attempt. It's going to go dead, and it's come off a Tingha player, so the dropout will be taken from underneath the uprights. So the drop kick to be taken from underneath the uprights. Score at the moment favours the Bulldogs 15-13. Drop out taken by B. Carpenter. The ball goes back towards Teddy Blair. It's allowed to bounce. It goes behind him. Picked up. Oh, knocked on by Bob Binge, in fact. No, it's a Tingha ball. Tingha come up with it. I think it could be lock forward Ashley Sutton who followed that ball through. It is. It's played outside the corner. There goes Jimmy Ross, the replacement player for Tingha. He runs hard and runs into 5'8" Andrew Blair, 10 metres in Tingha's territory. All played. There goes Lavender, the hooker, runs into Crossland in the shoulder charge, and it's hurt Crossland too. Lavender's down a few metres inside Tingha territory. Knocked on by Payne, but play on, says the referee. It comes away to second row Carpenter. Running across field. A pass goes to Fenton. He dummies. Goes over halfway. Comes back towards the main part of the field. Flung to the ground, though, by a player who followed him through. It was centre Mick Williams. Ball played 10 metres into Bundy territory. It comes back. Payne unloads a pass to Leighton Blair. They got the overlap Tingha, but Blair goes to the ground. Takes the ball with him. And loses the ball, in fact. And Mick Williams it is. The centre who's been penalised. I think he probably was a bit unlucky there because that certainly looked as though he'd taken the ball off. Or actually, the fullback Blair lost the ball before the ruling was made. There's the tap taken by Tingha anyway as Carpenter runs hard and runs into Teddy Blair and picks him up. A pass goes away then to Ross, the replacement player. Long pass out to Parry. Parry flying down the touchline, throws a pass in field that's missed by the Bundarra players and knocked back, says the referee. Payne dives on it for Tingha. Pass goes from Fenton to Gerard, the second rower, and Gerard is held up a few metres short of the line. Loses the ball, taken off him by Craigie, and Craigie runs 10 metres away before he's held up in a tackle. Just inside the Bulldogs' quarter now. It's played, running from dummy half. Who is it? Could be Beard, and Beard's knocked over just outside the quarter. Blair at dummy half, unloads away to Jeff Blair, who puts the big kick in general play. Oh, there's trainers in the roads and everything, but going back for it is Stephen Ting and Leighton Blair. They work something between them. Blair runs up the touchline himself, gets away from one player, gets away from Blacklock, gets away from Crossland. Other Crossland comes, gets away from him. Good run by the fullback. He's almost split them, runs into Munro. Munro get him, but he stands. Gets a pass away to Payne, then a pass goes away to Mayfield, then it goes away to the 5'8", Anderson flying downfield, back inside to Carpenter, and the second row is going to score under the uprights. Carpenter in to score for Tingha, and that makes it 16-15, but Leighton Blair, what a good run by this little lively fullback. He ran about 40 yards upfield. He beat about half the Bundarra side. He set that try up, and it was only a matter of how far because Bundarra was cut to shreds, and Carpenter has scored under the uprights. That makes the score Tingha leading Bundarra by 16-15 with the kick to come from right in front.
Video last one, Tingha.
Second row Carpenter it is, who will take the conversion from right in front. Should make it 18-15. He does, straight between the uprights, and Tingha race away and lead this match 18-15. Full time, very close. Commence play from the centre of the halfway line with Lottie Munro to do the honours. 18-15, the Tigers hit the front. Ball's kicked off. It's going back towards fullback Leighton Blair, who stops it with his foot, allows it to bounce. Now picks it up and is on the run out towards his corner, but he's knocked over in a nice tackle from, I think it was the centre Williams. It was Munro to play it. Plays at a dummy half as Mayfield the centre. He runs from that position and reaches the corner before he's put down in a tackle by Blacklock. Mayfield, who's getting slowly to his feet, will play the ball back. It's played, goes to Payne, the half-back. He unloads one to Anderson, the 5'8", calls Philip Anderson with him, gives it to him, and Anderson goes over the corner before he's followed by half-back Beard and brings him down. Attempts to get up and go again, but wisely doesn't. It would have been penalised. There goes Anderson from dummy half to 5'8". He makes good ground and is brought down 10 metres inside Tingha territory. So in 3 tackles, Tingha's gone 40 metres. Anderson gets up, has a look at one of the Bundarra players, but decides to play it. It goes to Carpenter. The big second row runs hard, gets out of one tackle, but they hit him, the big Bundarra forwards, if you can call them big. And Carpenter, the second rower. Carpenter, the second row, is down injured after feigning to play the ball. He was kicked in the shins by a Bundarra player. Medical treatment's required. Now time back on as Sutton dummy half runs and makes a nice 10 metres before he's tackled. 13 metres into Bundarra territory. That's the scrum for the 6th tackle. So the scrum will pack down 13 metres inside the Bundarra line. The ball's in, coming out to Bundarra, picked up I think by the replacement player. We'll have to try and pick up who that player is. Bundarra ball, 10 metres inside Bundarra territory. Ball played, Beard at half-back, gets a pass away to Craigie, the hard-running second rower, runs into Sutton, and they drop him right on halfway. Craigie, second rower, will play it. Beard at dummy half, unloads a pass away to a player, we can't pick him up, it's 13 Cross, and kicked through as the ball went back. Well picked up by 5'8" Blair, but the referee wants it brought back for a scrum. Scrum packs 10 metres away, and there's full time in the background. The match has been won by Tingha to the tune of 18 points to 15 for Tingha. Tries have been scored by Ricky Fenton, who scored 2, Les Parry scored 1, and Paul Carpenter scored 1. 3 goals to Carpenter, his personal contribution being 9 points. From Bundarra tries to Blacklock, Blair, that's Andy Blair, and Teddy Blair scored 1, 3 goals to Munro. So the full-time score favoured Tingha by 18 points to 15.